Hello everybody, in this video we're going to cover the new Louisiana Congressional Redistricting map. It is possible the map gets struck down again, but as of right now this does look like it's going to help Democrats. I know there's other maps out there like New York, but I want to wait until that one is completely finalized before I try to cover it. So let's go through and see what happened. Well, in Louisiana the redistricting process was controlled by the state legislature, and at the time there was a supermajority of Republicans that was enough to override the veto of then Governor Democrat John Bel Edwards. Now Louisiana has 6 congressional districts, and that map was used in the recent midterms. Now, at Ballotpedia, you can get a background of the entire process here. It's long, it's complicated. Eventually, the map was struck down based on a Section 2 violation of the Voting Rights Act. Many of you already know, but that is centered around the racial makeup of each district. And specifically, black voters make up about 1/3 of the population in Louisiana, but they were only favored in one of those 6 congressional districts. Now, I've previously reviewed every map on this channel, and many of you know I'm in favor of having fair maps based on the statewide partisan reflection. Sometimes that also conveniently overlaps with the racial reflection like it does here in Louisiana. But to make a long story short, in January, the state legislature with a new Republican governor, they did eventually approve new congressional maps, and you can see them right here. It's a big difference over the previous map, so this is what the new map is set to look like for the next election. A little later on, we'll see that there's a chance this map gets struck down, but if you want to read about the new map, feel free to do so, and of course all the links will be down below in the description. Now the major change in question is the 6th district. That's this diagonal district in the center of the state that runs from Shreveport southeast down to Baton Rouge. Now if you look at the old 6th district, you can see this district has an awful shape, but it does go completely around that one blue district that's centered around the Baton Rouge and New Orleans area. So most of the blue vote is packed into one district. Now if you want a side-by-side comparison of the old and the new map, here it is right here. You can see that new district completely cuts diagonally across the middle of the state. So the geography here is still not at all pretty. The new 2nd district, I've heard that referred to as the airplane district. It kind of looks like the outline of an airplane. But because the 6th district is so focused on connecting black voters in Baton Rouge 200 miles away to Shreveport, there's again a court challenge saying this violates the Voting Rights Act, alleging that you're not allowed to solely draw a district based on race. And there's been previous court cases where districts with bizarre and irregular borders have been struck down in the past. So it's possible the Republicans pass this map, hoping that ends up happening. It might not be in time for this election, but it is something to keep in mind. Again, we'll look at that more in just a few minutes. Now, if you want a better way to look at the partisan vote in this state, let's switch over to Dave's redistricting. Now, here's the old map, and here's that 6th district that goes most of the way around the 2nd district. And if we switch to the partisan view, we can see in the top of that 2nd district, there is a good chunk of blue vote there. So that's the blue vote that's in the southeast part of that new 6th district. So that vote in Baton Rouge is going to stretch all the way more than 200 miles northwest, all the way here to Shreveport, and the state is largely politically and racially polarized. So the other 4 districts are going to be completely solidly red, and the new 6th district, given the racial, but what I think is more important is the partisan makeup of the new district, it's expected to flip and be a pickup for the Democrats. How fair is this map? Well, if we look back at the recent midterms, the Republicans got 68% of the statewide popular vote for the U.S. House. Now that's a little bit misleading because not all of these districts have a Democrat and a Republican in the general election. If we go back 2 more years to 2020, and Republicans got 61.5% of the vote, Democrats were at 36. So when judging fairness, I like to use the statewide popular vote for the House. Some people want to use presidential vote. Last time Trump was at 58.5, Biden was close to 40. Sometimes the presidential vote does not exactly correlate to the House vote. So because this is for congressional redistricting, I think using the House vote is more appropriate. And Louisiana also uses the jungle primary. So sometimes there can be 2 Democrats or 2 Republicans in the general election. But if in the new map, Democrats are expected to control 2 of those 6 seats, that's easy math. That's 33% of the seats. And given that they're in the mid, possibly in the high 30s in the statewide popular vote for the House or for president, then on a glance, this would instantly become one of the fairest maps. Although the downside is none of these districts are really going to be competitive. Now there's still more. In the new 6th congressional district, That is currently held by Republican Garrett Graves, and this year he's going to be challenged by a Democrat. We can look at that right here. Looks like he's going up against Cleo Fields, and Fields actually was in the U.S. House more than 2 decades ago. So Democrats not really looking for any new blood here. Looks like they're going back to Cleo Fields. He's going to face off against Garrett Graves. And given the new makeup of the district, the predictions already pretty much had this as safe Democrat. So that is a big blow to Garrett Graves and a major boost for the Democrats, picking up a second seat out of 6 in this red state. But there's more. As I said, that 6th district that has such irregular geography that's purely designed to connect the black population in 2 faraway cities, that is again getting another court challenge. And again, that might have been the hope for the Republicans in the state legislature, but there's some news about this here. We're again back to Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. I know some people out there are going to be completely appalled by this, and I know this was not the only way to draw the map, but I think when race is the sole focus, that is going to lead to challenges in different directions. And as I always say, if it were just based on the statewide partisan vote, this would be one of the fairest maps now, and that formula would work in every state, and I think that would be a win overall. Now, there is some issue here with the geography. It's not at all compact, and I think that is legitimately up for debate. For the partisan reflection, though, the old map was an advantage for Republicans, definitely not the worst state out there, but now this new map completely evens everything out. Now, the court case with this new map, you can follow the process here. Maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't. I would guess if it does change, it would be after the upcoming election, but that pretty much wraps up what happened in Louisiana. This story here says that black voters want the congressional map lawsuit moved away from a GOP-stacked court. So I didn't want to put out this video until it looked like things were going to be final. It's not for sure settled, but if it stays like this, Democrats look like they're picking up another seat. Garrett Graves is the big loser, and that's a summary of redistricting in Louisiana. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this new map? Do you agree the map overall is more fair in terms of partisan reflection, but you're also put off by the focus on the racial aspect? And are you surprised the U.S. Supreme Court, that is supposed to be so conservative, seems to be helping Democrats in several of these states with redistricting? And do you think the new map will be struck down again? What do you think about Garrett Graves in the upcoming election, and how do you think maps should be drawn? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.